Lex Luger first made his debut in 1985 and would later join Jim Crockett Promotions, becoming a member of the Four Horsemen in 1987. He quickly rose up the ranks and feuded with the likes of Ric Flair, even when the promotion became WCW in 1988. In 1991, Luger would go on to capture the WCW World Heavyweight Championship at the Great American Bash, till he finally lost the title to Sting at Super Brawl II and left to join Vince McMahon's World Bodybuilding Federation. He would make an on-screen appearance at WrestleMania 8 and would finally join the WWF, debuting at the Royal Rumble 1993 as the Narcissist. Despite having a run as a heel, which is something Luger preferred, everyone remembers Luger for having body-slammed WWF champion Yokozuna on July 4, 1993 on the USS Intrepid and becoming an instant babyface. This started the Lex Express, where he would go across the country on a bus to campaign for a title shot against Yokozuna. With widespread support and fan signings, Luger would get his match at SummerSlam 1993, but would not win the WWF title that night. Fan support faded. Luger would co-win the Royal Rumble 1994 and lose his chance once again to become WWF champion at WrestleMania 10. Although Luger would be one of the WWF's top stars after his feud with the Million Dollar Corporation transitioned into becoming a tag team guy with Davey Boy Smith, Luger would secretly join WCW and show up on the first episode of WCW Nitro. Just how could the WWF screw up a run that had so much potential? Some would argue Lex would have been better off as the Narcissist from the start. Some would say he should have won the title at SummerSlam. While we agree that Luger should have won the title, the issue comes to what would he do next. Luger would have likely defended the title against Ludwig Borga and Crush, but the lack of strong heels would have been the biggest problem for the champion throughout 1994. What we present is an alternative run that would begin in 1994. On the July 11, 1994 episode of Monday Night, Raw Ted DiBiase announces that Lex Luger is joining the Million Dollar Corporation. Tatanka would confront Luger on several occasions, claiming that he sold out to DiBiase. Luger admits that he did have a meeting with DiBiase, but never joined and continues to deny any involvement. Tatanka challenges Luger to prove it by facing him at SummerSlam. At the pay-per-view, Tatanka nearly defeats Luger, till IRS, Bigelow, and Volkov at ringside attack Tatanka on the outside and throw him back in. Luger, who was in a corner playing it as though he was badly hurt, jumps and finishes off Tatanka with the running elbow and $1 Million Dream. After the match, the corporation all come in to hug Luger, who did sell out, shocking fans. The next night on Raw, Luger is in a nice suit walking down with Ted DiBiase. He gets in the ring to be interviewed by Vince McMahon and explains that at WrestleMania 10, he had his final opportunity for a WWF title shot and was screwed out of the title. He blames the WWF for bringing in a special referee who was brought in to ruin his chances. He says that he started to notice that the fans started to turn against him, and the reality is that he never liked the fans. He never liked going around the country in a stinky bus and sign autographs. He says he hates pretending to be Hulk Hogan and that only DiBiase can ensure his future. DiBiase says he has renegotiated a new contract with the WWF that would allow a future title shot. Luger gets a lot of heat as WWF champion Bret the Hitman Hart shows up to confront Luger. Bret says he's in disbelief that Luger would turn on the fans. He talks about how Luger was an American hero. Luger says that Bret has only been holding his title for him and challenges Bret to a match at Survivor Series. Over the next few weeks, the feud gets heated up when Bret and Luger get into a big fight backstage. Later, Owen Hart joins the Million Dollar Corporation as Bret blames Luger for brainwashing Owen. At a contract signing between the two, Luger knocks out Bret, though Bret manages to fight back. At the Survivor Series, Luger gets in the torture rack. Bret never submits, but Owen convinces Bret's mom, Helen Hart, who was at ringside, to call for the bell out of fear for her son, who was up there for longer than 2 minutes. Luger wins the WWF Championship for the first time. After The Undertaker conquers Yokozuna at the Survivor Series, he turns to Luger, demanding a title shot at the Royal Rumble, saying he had waited a whole year. Luger, who is afraid of Taker, accepts the challenge, and over the next few weeks, Taker takes down IRS, Volkov, Bigelow, and Owen. At the Rumble, King Kong Bundy would squash Taker with an avalanche on the outside, giving Luger the advantage to retain the title. Meanwhile, backstage Luger confronts NFL star Lawrence Taylor, who was announced to be in the Rumble, and they get into a fistfight. Taylor enters the Rumble at No. 21 and shockingly wins it after Shawn Michaels superkicks Diesel to the outside, and Diesel throws Shawn out to let Taylor win. Taylor says this is a lifetime opportunity and demands that if he wins, Luger vacates the title, but out of respect for the boys in the back, he won't keep the title. Luger thinks it's a joke that an NFL player should even be at WrestleMania to challenge for the WWF Championship. Luger says he accepts the challenge under the stipulation that Taylor gives up his 1991 Super Bowl ring if he loses. At WrestleMania 11, despite NFL stars and the million-dollar corporation surrounding the ring, Taylor manages to pin Lex Luger by pulling on his tights in a roll-up. Luger, furious that he was screwed by the referee, quits the WWF and leaves the million-dollar corporation. He is replaced by Sid. Despite the WWF title being vacant, a 30-man battle royal for the WWF Championship is set at the inaugural In Your House pay-per-view on May 14, 1995. Diesel captures the WWF title. The next night on Raw, Lex Luger returns demanding a title shot. However, Luger is denied a shot at the title by WWF offices due to his quitting the company. Luger has to climb the top once again to prove himself and goes on to win the King of the Ring. Luger defeats Razor Ramon at In Your House 2 and becomes the No. 1 contender for the title. Diesel defeats Luger at SummerSlam to retain the title. Whether Luger re-signs with the WWF in September or joins WCW is a question best left to fans, though we feel he had a lot of potential as a heel in the second half of his WWF run. What do you think of this run for Luger? Comment below, subscribe, and thank you for watching In the Plot.